Today we are talking outsourcing. I'm excited for this one, received it as a question a couple times, so let's talk about it. Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. As always, before we get started, I want to take a few moments to highlight Up in My Business's show sponsor, Jane App. Jane is a clinic management software and EMR designed to help you run your clinic and prevent no-shows. One of the most common reasons for no-shows is forgetfulness, so bolstering your communication is key to helping your clients show up for scheduled appointments. With Jane, you can create effective reminders that include appointment details and clear instructions on how to cancel and reschedule. You can also choose between a text, email, manual phone call, or a mixture of all three reminders depending on what works best for your clients. You'll love not having to remind your clients, and they'll love getting a little nudge about when their appointment is. If you're curious to learn more, head to jane.app/payments to book a demo with a member of the Jane team. You can also use my code LEX1MO. Again, it's LEX1MO over at jane.app/start for a 1-month grace period on your new Jane account. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Up in My Business. I'm fixing my mic because this seems to be in the wrong location. Okay, there we go. So thank you so much. Welcome back if you are an avid listener and are always here. And welcome to my podcast if you're a new listener. Here we talk all about websites, SEO, tech in general, making sure that we can have an EMR system, shameless plug, that is fitting for our business, helps make patient care easier, our lives easier, and automations, sequences, email marketing, all the things, courses, we talk about a lot. So welcome. It's so good to have you. As always, we're going to talk about life updates, business updates, and then I'll get into the episode. We are chatting all things outsourcing today, and I did do a post on this, so I'll, link that and what have you, but I do want to also use my voice to talk about it. So first things first, life updates. It's been a bit since I've done life updates. I feel like it's been since the beginning of the month. So I will just try to go through all the things. Biggest thing, Shantae and I visited her family in Pennsylvania, and it was the best. I love spending time with her family. They just honestly are great humans. And we had a lot of fun playing with her nephews. And yeah, I just think that I wish we could be back there more. I wish we could be back with my family and her family more. But as you know, and I'm not sure how many people can relate to this, but the routine, the animals, like being out of routine is so hard for long periods of time and a lot of time. So it's so nice to be able to get out there, have a dog sitter for Moose, be able to leave Rupert for, 5 days without it being an issue. And so the time that we do get, just super, super grateful for that, of course. But the visit was amazing. We were there for Wednesday to Sunday. Thursday to Sunday. We avoided all of the crap with the airlines, which was amazing. We left before it started and came back and just had zero issues. So really, honestly, bless up for that, because it could have been very different per a lot of stories that I have heard and seen. So recognizing that could be an issue. I also want to just say my parents. So if you are familiar with my background, you would know that I was a travel PT. And when I was a travel PT, I was in Ketchikan, Alaska. My parents went on an Alaskan cruise this past week, and they met up with one of my friends from when I was in Ketchikan. So really, really full circle fun moment for me to have my parents meet somebody that genuinely, I will tell you, this person alongside one other person got me through, 2 people that I worked with got me through those 6 months. And both of those women, they're now 5 years older. It's wild to me to see her and then the other woman, her kids all grown up and what have you. And I'm just like, oh my God, time goes by so fast. So those two women really just made a huge difference in my life. And so for my parents to meet them was just incredible. I'm trying to think what else I want to talk about for personal updates. I feel like those are the big things that I really wanted to talk about, because otherwise, like the same old, which volleyball is volleyball. Shantae and I just had a huge conversation. Oh, I have a couple other things in my head. Welcome to my brain. Shantae and I talked a lot today about volleyball and how, I played indoor volleyball, and I will be very clear. Indoor volleyball is very different than beach. There are girls that we play with who played indoor and they have picked up the skills in beach faster than I am. And Shantae is, one, because they played throughout college. So I genuinely have not played organized volleyball since 2012. So it's been 10 years. Yes, is it like riding a bike? And yes, did most things come back? For sure. But the skill of hitting a ball is definitely the thing that is just hanging me up. And Shantae and I have been chatting about like, how can we just get better? And so we're deciding to just put reps in. And I think we're going to potentially go to the park and do a lot of swings at a wall that they have there. I think a lot of kids use it for soccer practice as well, like getting ball touches. So going to be trying that stuff, and then just going down to the beach to practice on our own, because we have a decent number of balls. So it makes it easier to do that when you have multiple volleyballs. So we're going to try to do that. I'll keep you updated of how that goes, but yes, I am very much so. I won't say I'm frustrated, because I'm not frustrated. I'm just, I wish progress would be a little bit faster. And I feel like this is a life, a business, what have you lesson, in that no matter how much you wish it would be a thing, it's not going to be a thing. And you have to put effort into figuring out why it's not that, and then just kind of work the plan. Yes. But it's just, it can be kind of just, it's a doozy some days. I'm just like, what the heck? Can't this just be figured out? Other cool news. So Molly Galbraith and Doc Jen Fit and Molly's husband, Casey, were in town, or are in town. Jen drove, because Jen lives in California, so she drove. But we all had breakfast the other morning, and Shantae wrote an email about it. So if you're on Shantae's email list, you already know this story and what happened. But the conversations that we had were just so good. I will tell you that for 10 years of my life, no, it was not 10 years. It was like 7 or 8 years, maybe like 6 to 8 years. Realistically, I'm just thinking about how long I spent in a certain place, like where I was spending most of my time. And like after I had left grad school, I would say, probably 4 years of my life, that I wasn't surrounded by humans that essentially had I want to say, like, I was able to engage in conversations such as this. Like I have really close friends that I've been friends with since high school, and we stay in touch. Like we have a group chat. We talk all the time. I've probably talked about them on the podcast, but they all have amazing jobs, and none of them are online entrepreneurs. So it's tough to, they will do amazing jobs of, hearing my frustrations, and I always have a place to go if I need someone to talk to. But when it comes to online business and business ownership, and even just like general life stuff, having people that you can talk to about all that stuff, and they just fucking get it. And they also just ask you questions that make you think. And I can't say it enough that it is so valuable, and it felt so good to have those conversations. And I think, like, when you have an online business or a brick and mortar clinic, like, you understand the value of being able to collaborate with someone, even if that's just to like talk about shared struggles or bounce ideas off of, or hey, what do you think about this thing? And Shantae said it in her email very well. Like, we are lucky in that as life partners, like, we are living together and can essentially have these conversations whenever we want. But also, I will say that we also don't like, I will say we do a fairly decent job of not like always talking about work, because that's definitely not the case either. But it's just so nice to have a space where I can have these types of conversations. Not that like I don't have the ability to talk to my other friends about this stuff, but it is different when you have someone that is, or people that are super involved, and even like being, if you're familiar with Molly, like Girls Gone Strong, their business is incredible. And to hear like the things that she's doing and how she does things and what she's passionate about, it was just a conversation that really just got me going. Like I was very, very inspired and happy, and just I felt very fulfilled after all of the conversations that I was having with these people, and just feel super grateful that I was able to do that. And like I said, it's just I will say, like, being able to surround yourself, or at least have a network of people to have these conversations with, is completely invaluable. And it's just like, you cannot put a price tag on how valuable that is. And it was great. It was amazing. And so that's just me saying, like, get you some people who you can have these conversations with, because it's the best. I am sitting here thinking, like, what else did I want to say? I think that's it. I think that's really all the big life stuff, aside from Moose getting groomed this week, which we all know what a journey that's been. But we have a great groomer now, like a great groomer. So I'm hoping she doesn't come back shaved. But I will also say we waited like 2.5 weeks too long. If you have a golden doodle, you can feel free to DM me if you would like. Their hair, so Moose does not have straight hair. She does not have tight curly hair. She has the same hair that Shantae has. Honestly, it's literally the same. It's curly, but she has white hair too. So her coat, she's a blue merle golden doodle. So she has white hair mixed with black hair. And the white hairs, there are white hairs that are very soft and what have you, like nice feeling. And then there are white hairs that are very, very wiry. And those white hairs are the bane of our existence, because it starts mats, and they basically like get tangled up in each other, and then it's this big mat. Well, it's not a problem when her hair is, a lot shorter than it is now. But when it grows too much, it's just like you get one out, you brush her, you get a mat out, and she has 10 more the next 5 minutes. And it's just like, oh my God. So if you don't have a golden doodle and you don't have a dog that you have to brush and like groom and all that jazz, like, congratulations. I will say I love her to death. I would not change a thing. But I will also say that it's a lot. It's a lot. And she had her first hotspot. Shout out to Fringe, joinfringe.com, because the red light was so helpful for her hotspot. But okay, that's basically all the domestic dog story. So ridiculous. Okay. Quick little thing on business. I have looked at my schedule. I have 5 days left for Do It in a Days left this year. So what that is, typically, if you want a full-blown website redesign, you want a new website, you want SEO, my SEO signature star, if you are looking for me to build out your course on Kajabi, or you want me to build out automations within ConvertKit for certain products you have, and email marketing sequences and what have you, I have 5 dates left in 2024. I am not entirely sure what next year is going to look like as far as pricing and availability goes. So I don't know. And I'm the person who's up front. I will tell you, you can download my pricing sheet. You can download my services brochure. I'll put a link in the show notes, but you can check that out if you're interested in one of those dates. I will tell you that I love these days, because to me, there is nothing more valuable in my mind than not having to do a bunch of back and forth with someone, and also to know that things are going to get done. So for me, I'm like, if you have a lot of stuff you need to get done and your to-do list is never ending, let me help you. I will get all that stuff done. We can set a date. I will give you homework so that way you know exactly what you need to have ready for me on that day. And then once we lock in the day, on that day, I will do all the things. I will say that if you download my service brochure, you will see that the Do It in a Day is very website focused. I have a lot of options for Do It in a Day. So at this point, I'm getting on discovery calls with folks, and everyone needs something different. So we're developing specific packages. I don't really believe in the whole like cookie cutter experience. So I tailor things to be really specific to what you need. So with that being said, 5 days are left in 2024, which is freaking mind-blowing to me. But if you're looking for all of this to happen before the new year, please hear me when I say I do not have December availability. December is wild, so it will be before December, so don't wait until last minute, please. Yeah, that's basically what I have to say on that. Okay, I think that's it. Let's talk about outsourcing. I'm just reading my little note sheet. I do this off the cuff, obviously. I'm not over here reading a script. So I'm just making sure I checked off all my boxes. Okay, let's talk about outsourcing. So here's the thing. I learned a lot about outsourcing from Shantae. As with a lot of other things, like I think people don't know, like some people do not know, I worked for Shantae since 2018. So I have been exposed to her teaching style for literally, how many years is that? It's 2024, 6 years. And so I think that's not always known. So let me just say that it's been 6 years of her coaching. I have not invested in coaching programs. I have not invested in like other business coaches. Actually, I'm lying. Emma Jack, I did invest in her mastermind, her mini small group mastermind. And we did a lot of coaching around like the mindset behind all of the things in business and essentially my scheduling and how I can manage my energy. And it was great. So I should not say I haven't invested, but all the things that I'm going to talk about today, outsourcing and what have you, I have learned secondhand, right? And also through my own business and watching my clients outsource to me. So here's the long and the short. If you like doing something and it does not cause you to be up in arms, you're not salty about it, you're not sitting there thinking, oh, I would rather be playing outside with my kids, or I could be treating right now and making more money, or if you're thinking that something isn't taking exponentially longer than you assumed it would, or you're not working on the weekends and you genuinely like what you're doing and you're proficient in it and you find the speed at which you're doing it good enough, and the quality of what you're churning out you are happy and proud of, then you don't really need to think about outsourcing. I have been really frustrated because I've seen a lot of messaging that basically states, beating around the bush with it, but that if you are not able to outsource, or if you're not actively outsourcing, you are not successful, or like your business is not successful. I will tell you, I do everything in my business. I'm answering my emails. I'm doing my email marketing. I'm running SEO school. I'm answering in the Facebook group. I'm doing all of my back end work. I do all of my retainer work. I don't outsource. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that because I love everything I do in my business. At some point, I'm assuming I'm probably going to outsource like emails so that when emails come in, people can get a response a little bit faster than they do now. But to be honest with you, right now, I love doing everything I'm doing in my business. So I don't see a need to outsource any of my consistent stuff. Did I outsource my logo? Yes, 1000%. Did I outsource my brand photography? Yes. So there are things that I'm outsourcing because I just felt like it would be easier to do that. I would get a better result. I wasn't happy with my logo. I wanted a new one. And now I'm happy. Like, great, amazing. But I was just frustrated with the messaging around it, thinking like, I'm not successful or my business isn't as good as it could be because I'm not outsourcing. And I think it's extremely problematic just because there are people who will likely never outsource, and it's not a terrible thing. Like, I think like that's fine. If you like what you like and you do all the things you like in your business, cool, like stick with it. Where I feel and like how I feel outsourcing is done best, and really, really important to think about this, is the fact that when you try to do things first, right? When you try to do your email marketing, you try to make your website, you do the things, you know how long it takes you to do it. And you know that if it took you 3 hours and then you hired someone and they got it done, quicker, or you were able to essentially go do whatever you needed to do instead of mess around with this stuff, people love that. I will say that it's very nice when I have clients who are like, I did this for so long and it took me so long to do it. I didn't like the product. I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't proud to share it. I do not think that it is worth my time to invest in this. I want to just outsource. Amazing. That's fantastic. I don't think that that is a problem, because if you like everything that you need to do in your business or for your business, and if you are finding that you're not really time poor, so your time is being used where you want it to be used and you don't feel like you need to use it elsewhere, then you don't need to outsource. But for the people who are like, I'm doing this thing, I'm building out this course, and essentially like you just don't want to fuck around and you want to get things done and you want to make sure it's done well. You want to be proud of the product. You know you're not good at designing. You know that messing around and figuring out the program might take you 18 days, whereas, hiring someone would obviously be much faster. Then outsource the thing. I think that it's a lot of pressure is put on outsourcing, and I don't think it needs to be that way. I know that it does not need to be that way. And it really, really is done best when it's for a task that you don't like, one that you don't want to do anymore, something you're not good at, one that takes you too much time, or when you know that your time could be better spent elsewhere. I have a client in mind that basically just said, like, I want to make a course. I don't want to do this stuff. Like, this is something that I don't want to do. I don't care how it gets done. I just want it done so that I can focus on what I actually want to do. Cool. Amazing. Right? Like, that is something that you would want to outsource for. You never want to begrudgingly outsource and like mess up I'll call it the bottom line, because you feel like it's an expectation to outsource, if you will. So it's not something that you just want to, for lack of better terms, I want to say not guess, but just do because you think you have to, right? That's just never going to be a good outcome. And people who you are outsourcing to want you to be like a hell yes. Like, of course, I want to outsource this thing. So yeah, I feel like you also just won't see the value or feel the value of outsourcing when you decide that you want to outsource, until you have tried to do it yourself or have been doing it yourself for a while. Like, people get on calls with me and they'll be like, I tried to build my website. It looks like shit. It took me 8 hours to just do one page and I hate this. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got your back. I will help you. That sounds like you really don't want to do it and you don't have the time to do it. And it makes sense to outsource that task, because overall outsourcing is a way to buy your time back and allow you to get more done in less time. It holds you accountable, and you just have that guarantee that your things are going to get done and they're going to get done well. I know what it's like to push things to a bottom of a to-do list. So if you feel like that's something that you're doing a lot, think, okay, do I need to outsource this thing or am I good? It's realistically like, and I said this in the post, rather than seeing outsourcing as a label of having a successful business, see it as your ability to recognize your preferences and know how to leverage your skills within your business. Outsourcing can be incredible when done well and for the right reasons. We never want you to outsource if you don't feel like you need to outsource. And we want you to outsource when it feels really good. Like, honestly, when it feels good and you know, like, I'm playing with my kids and I have someone else doing work for me and I love that. That's amazing. We outsource our grocery shopping. Like, yes, 110%. We get Instacart and it's the best decision ever because we don't have to go to the grocery store and spend time in there. So all of that said, like, when you really take a look at the situation of, should you outsource, should you not? I love looking at it at a time perspective. Like, know that if you're going to outsource, the person that you're going to outsource to should be, or I would hope, is very proficient in what you need. And when you decide that you want to outsource, understand that you will save time in the long run because you are outsourcing the thing that you're not good at, or you may not get good results with, meaning you don't like the design, or you might not even have a functional thing at the end of the day. You're outsourcing that stuff to someone who is proficient in it. So you know it's going to get it done, and you know that you're not going to have to mess around and hope that you figure it out. And some people might tell me, I don't give a shit. I want to mess around and hope that I figure it out. Other people who I meet on calls are like, I do not even care. I need it done. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to have to learn it. I don't want to watch videos. I just need you to do it. And I'm like, okay, I've got your back. But like, there are different people in this world. There are people who don't care. They will do anything and everything themselves. And that's also fine. Like I feel that. I get it. So if you are deciding like, should I outsource? Should I not outsource? Just try to figure out, what you like doing in your business, what you don't like doing in your business, what takes you a ton of time that you would really like to use elsewhere, and what are you not good at, and what are you not proud to share. I always tell people, if you have a website and you feel like an ick when you send people to it, or you don't feel like shouting it from the rooftops that you have this website, I would tell you to look deeper into that and figure out why you don't like it. If it's because you don't like the way it's built, or you can't manage it yourself, or it looks bad, 100%, like, let's outsource that thing so that you can be proud of your brand and your online home, the online home of your brand. And if you're someone who is like, I would rather just build it myself, cool, like that's fine too. And people are always going to have different strengths. We all have different strengths. So at the end of the day, you have to just lean into what makes sense for your business. And the one size fits all advice of just outsource it is not always going to be helpful and is not always going to serve you best. So with all of that being said, I hope that helped you if you have just been wondering about outsourcing and trying to figure out, like, is this for me or is it not for me? And that's really all I have for you. I know that I have one last announcement. I have two things, actually. One thing I forgot to say, that I outsource my accounting and I don't think twice about it. I hated that shit. Spreadsheets, receipts, bank account balancing, no thanks. Taxes, no thanks. I outsource everything to Sandy York, Fit Money Coach on Instagram and fitmoneycoach.com. I outsource everything to Sandy for that. It's literally the best thing I've ever done because I hated that stuff. I don't like numbers. I don't like it. No, thank you. And then I also want to just say that if you want to hang out in person, I'm planning to be at Shantae and Jill's event, Boss Up, in October. So I'll put a link to the registration page. I'm looking at my calendar to make sure I get the dates right. October 10th and 11th. Boss Up is happening in Southern California, and I'm pumped. So I am looking forward to seeing so many people there. And early bird pricing does end this week, so shameless plug for their in-person event. I genuinely don't feel like I would ever want to go to anyone else's in-person event because they're so great. So yeah, if you want to attend an in-person event, want to hear them speak, but also some really dope guests, check out the info page that I will link in the show notes, and I will see you there if you decide to register. All right, that's officially all I have for you. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. I will catch you next time.